Send me the outline. I'm going to put a bunch of questions together. We're going to meet once a week for 10 weeks. And that's what we did.
Hmm.
And he just, like I said, then he had it all transcribed for me. And then
Welcome to Dear Business Coach, the podcast. My name's Elizabeth. Find one thing to move your business forward today with conversations, spotlights, interviews, articles, and free resources. Listen and follow and subscribe on social media. Dear Business Coach pages and groups. Dear Business Coach podcast, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and don't forget Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts. All it takes sometimes is one little thing to move your business forward today.
Know when to start. All right. Okay. Welcome to the Dear Business Coach podcast. Kathleen, how are you doing today?
I am good, Elizabeth. How are you doing today?
All right. Yeah, just great. I've been thinking here, getting excited about our conversation. It's been a while since I've asked someone who is talking about their personal story and has put it down on paper and is actually saying, I am asking you to come into my story. And that's very brave of you. And so I know that you probably are tired or bored of being asked the same question over and over again, but um, I I can't help but maybe I'll put a spin on it. Was there an aha moment? Maybe there was a time when there was very clearly for you, you said, okay, I have to start right now. This has to go on paper. Was there a moment like that for you?
Yeah, it was in my head for a while. I didn't know what it looked like per se. And then I was somewhere. Let me back step a little bit. I worked with a gentleman on another book called Circle of One. I just had a paragraph in it. I was one of the many authors in there. And that led me to, I really want to write my own book. And so I went and did a whiteboard process with a gentleman where he asked me a bunch of questions. It went on for like 10 weeks. It was like an hour a week. And then he took the manuscript and had somebody take all the ums, ohs, so's out of it and said, "Here you go. You can this could even be an ebook as is." But I just felt like there was more to it. So then I
Mm.
sat on it for like a year and a half. I didn't do anything with it. And then one week like three situations I was in, somebody's like, when you hear whispers, and I'm like, all right, I'm listening. I got to get this done because I'm a strong believer. If you get nudged by your higher power, mine's the universe, when it nudges you, after the third nudge, excuse me, they say, okay, you're not going to do anything with this. We're going to hand it to somebody who is.
Oh,
So I was like, that's my sign. I need to move on this. So then from there, I found an editor to help me take that manuscript and put it into what I wanted it to be. I just didn't know how to formulate it, so to speak. And so
mm.
she took the outline and she helped me find it. And that was probably my aha moment was that week where I had three situations where somebody said whispers in a sentence or whatever it was. And I was just like, okay, I'm listening. So.
Mm. Now, you actually are specifically saying whispers, like someone's whispering to you, someone is telling you something important and private and meant for you only. Well, so the whispers you heard that word three times in a week, and had you been looking for the phrasing that you needed, or was it more like, I'm gonna go with this. This has been handed to me. I heard
Yeah,
that.
so the name Whispers Within Us came to me in an audible download, which is the only audible download I've had in my entire life. I
Mhm.
was walking my dog on a trail and a feather fell to the ground. And I often communicate with my father through feathers, who's deceased now. Whenever I find a feather, it's usually when I'm dealing with something, right? And I'm getting affirmation from him to move forward or, I got you, whatever. The little bit of woo in me, right? And so this feather fell to the ground. I noticed it was an eagle feather. So I picked it up and I was placing it by a tree. But when I bent down to pick it up, I heard whispers within us, like somebody was standing on the trail and they said it. And I kind of stood up to put the feather next to a tree and I looked around. It was just me and my dog. Nobody was around. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And I'm like, I'm just going to put it in my phone. So I put Whispers Within Us in my notes, left it there. And then when I decided to start my coaching business, I was like, what was that name I heard that day? And I'm like, well, I'm going to name my coaching business Whispers Within Us. Well, that led to
Mm.
incorporating my book with it because I have an inner peace activation program that the book aligns with very well. So,
Visit the deals page, dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com/deals. Get your coupon codes there for all of the retailers who support the Dear Business Coach podcast and are giving you a special discount for being a listener here. You are listening to the Dear Business Coach podcast. My name's Elizabeth Walker and expert guests.
Okay, now what? Well, so I would like to know when you are at when people are asking you like, so how's it going? What's on your desk today? What would you say? Who
I
is
would,
Kathleen today?
yeah. So like, in a day, I meet with coaching clients on a regular basis, and then so I self-published my book, and I keep telling people, I'm like, actually writing the book seems to be the easy part at this point because marketing it and getting it out into the hands of people that need it, that's where the real work has started. So if I'm not with coaching clients and working on one of my programs, I'm in the midst of trying to get my book out there and whatever that looks like. There's several different things we do to do that, but yeah. So that's what's on my desk on a daily basis for sure.
Yeah, yeah, right. Get the right so you connect with the folks. Well, this is an excellent opportunity, and writers also make great speakers. And so I already got that from you when we talked before, and I want to get an opportunity to hear about what coaching or what getting coaching with you is like, and what how your program's developed. Is there something in particular that I should be interested in today that I should go look at right now? So in your professional world.
Yeah, the one program that I started out with is based off of kind of my divorce. It's called Mrs. to Miss, and it helps women not just out of divorce, but I had a lot of people coming up to me at the time I was getting my certification, my coaching certification, that were in the midst of having relationship problems or thinking of getting a divorce, whatever it looked like for them. And I'm like, okay, there's something here. There's a lot of women out there struggling. And I had gotten to the point where I went through all the things to find my purpose and just reinvent myself, so to speak. So the program Mrs. to Miss is to help women that feel like they're drifting. They just don't know what they're doing in life. Maybe their kids have grown and they're at home and now what, right? Their kids were their life. They did everything with them. They got them up for school, all the things. So the Mrs. to Miss program is my biggest program that I work with in my coaching world. The Inner Peace Activation program is a little bit newer, and we're getting a lot of feedback on it. And it's kind of taking off with all the chaos in the world right now. I think people are genuinely looking for inner peace. And it comes from within, right? It doesn't come from around you because there's chaos in our lives every day, but it does come from within. So you got to work on that first.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I thank you, and I want to ask you more about that. That might be an additional episode. I thank you for sharing that. I am curious about how how I would even think about going to an inner peace workshop or coaching experience or individual experience. Well, okay, so whispers within us. And what is it that I might take away first from your new book?
So Whispers Within Us is based off of the different types of intuitive, like we all have them. There's audible like just getting like hearing a song.
Mm-hmm.
And for some odd reason, that song resonates with you. Well, slow it down and listen to it. There's something in there your higher power is probably telling you. Signs and synchronicity, that's a big one for me. I get lots of signs from my higher power on a daily basis, just in my backyard through nature. And then there's also when you're like, people talk about the gut instinct, right?
Hmm.
So that's the one intuition all people know is that gut instinct. Well, how does it make your body feel? Does it make you get tense? Then it's probably something you shouldn't move forward on because it's like scared excitement is different than scared intensity. Scared intensity is
Mm.
something that is like, it's probably a hell no, don't do it.
Mm.
And scared excitement is like, oh my gosh, I'm really excited to do this. I'm a little scared, but I'm excited to move forward. So, the whole gut instinct is the one intuition everyone knows. So I start the book out just talking about intuitive guidance from your higher power, whatever that is, God, Buddha, the universe, divine. Everyone has something different. But what I tell people is those higher powers all come from the same thing. They all come from you put good out there, you will get good back. Plain and simple. And then all the little entities underneath it, like for example, religion, and they all follow a different type of concept.
Mm.
Those are all the little entities underneath it. So generally, putting good out there, you're going to get good back. Thinking positive thoughts, positive's going to come back to you, that kinds of thing. And that's where my mindset coaching comes into place. But the book starts out with your intuition and listening to your inner guidance. Then it kind of goes into more, limiting beliefs, fear, things like that. So I kind of just started out with like listening to yourself, listening to your higher power, finding ways to do that, slow down.
Mm. I see. Right, slowing down is a practice and something that takes practice, and I'm learning about presence and what does that really mean. Are you somebody that has always been able to listen?
No, not, I think it is a practice to slow down and to listen. I didn't realize that somebody said to me at an event one day, we were talking about something and I must have had some kind of reaction to something in the room. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're one of those." And I'm like,
Mm.
one of what?" She got my curiosity. And she's like, "You're an energy reader." And I'm like, "An energy reader?" And she's
Mm.
like, "You pick up on like if it's a positive room, a negative room, people coming towards you, whatever." And so I went down the rabbit hole on that a little bit and I finally started to embrace it. And the more I embraced it, the more I was picking up on stuff that was around me. So I did not know how to slow down at first. I went through a year of a yoga teacher training in 2020 of all things. It was supposed to be like a 6 month program and it ended up being 12 because of COVID. But and
Mm.
that taught me so much because people are like, "Oh, you like to move your body." I'm like, yoga is not just about moving your body. It is so much more. It's a spiritual practice. It's not doing harm to others. It is slowing down and doing some breath work if you need to slow down and calm your mind so you can pick up on signs and synchronicities or whatever your higher power is trying to tell you. And slowing down is hard for people. I am not a good meditator. I tell people that right out front. For me to sit down and meditate, I have so much chatter, like that monkey mind going on, that I have to do it with breath work. Like I have to breathe in a color and hold that color and breathe that color out to slow my mind down. And I do get a lot of downloads from that. I'll even do it when I'm out walking in the woods. I think being in nature is a huge way to slow down and just calm your body and your mind.
Right. I mean, that's uh something that I'm trying to work with in terms of like a daily practice. It's easy to lose you lose the practice when the seasons change, for example. Maybe I'm just now getting used to being able to walk at one time of the day outside and then oh, it's too hot or something that the time has changed. And that in it's is all of a sudden a new issue. I need to figure out how to readjust my schedule. And so I was actually listening to someone the other day talk about putting your bare feet on the earth, and that's not something that I had thought about in a long time. I would take my shoes off in my house, I think often, but that's not quite the same thing, and not even all the time there either. So uh what kinds of ways, does it matter if we just, even if we're in a city, right, just going to a strip of grass and airing out your toes or something? I mean, is that helpful?
Visit the deals page, dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com/deals. Get your coupon codes there for all of the retailers who support the Dear Business Coach podcast and are giving you a special discount for being a listener here. You are listening to the Dear Business Coach podcast. My name's Elizabeth Walker and expert guests.
So one of the biggest ways to ground is your feet on the earth, obviously. I live in where we get the 4 seasons or maybe 2 seasons, depending on spring and fall. So I
Hmm.
get winter, right? So I'm not going to go outside and put my feet on the ground in the winter. Another really good way to ground yourself is to look at the top of trees and just watch them. Just watch them sway in the wind or just watch the top. That's very grounding for people touching trees because trees have a lot of energy. It sounds weird, I know, but they have a lot of positive energy that helps you ground. So just putting your hand on a tree, you don't have to hug it. You can hug it. You don't have to hug it. And then also just like a lot of times breath work will help ground you, like just calming your nervous system down is a huge one. And another way, especially for the winter, is journaling.
Hmm.
Just getting
Oh.
just getting the chatter out of your head. Like some days I will do my routine of gratitude, a couple affirmations. I have an actual like routine I'll do, and some days I'm not feeling that. I'm like, I just need to mind dump. And I'll just start writing. And sometimes you'll go back and look at that, like what you wrote down, and you're just like, huh, I've been thinking about that for a while. I should look into that because it's something that just came out as you were writing. So journaling is a really good way to ground yourself too, is just to like get stuff out and so your mind can get more clear.
Yeah, how does that work, do you think? I mean, obviously, I'm getting the stuff out of my brain, if you will, as we say, or expressing something on paper. As someone who has practiced it, and you've written a book about how we do these, how we can go deeper into our practice with each and of these different methods, if you will, and whatever works for you. But they're all kind of serve a different purpose. And as you mentioned, getting this chatter out of your brain. Um, does it matter if you go back and read it again or not?
It really doesn't. You don't have to ever go back and read it again. Sometimes out of curiosity, I'll go back a year. Like I always start a new journal on January 1st, even if the other journal's not complete, like if it's not full. I'm like, nope, I want to start on January 1st. So next January, I'll go back and look what I wrote in January because I'm curious. Because a lot of times what you write down, you're also manifesting. Because actually taking it out of your head and putting it on paper helps your subconscious kind of like work through it.
Okay.
So, but you do not have to. You never have to go back and reread anything you write in a journal. It's just a matter of getting
Mhm.
it out of your head at that time.
Well, that's interesting. I have started journaling, and when I was younger, I used to journal, and then I didn't for a really, really long time, and now I've started again. And I was a little bit afraid of I was a little bit afraid of using the journal, like it would just be all either complaining, or I would be writing the same thing over and over again if I'm using it as a way to get excess out, or use it as a place where I can go that's safe, for example. And I found that I get bored with myself if I'm too negative or one way or the other. And then I start blending like work notes into it, and then I start blending personal notes into it. And then I think, oh no, this is too much. I need to get more organized with it. I mean, it's almost like, can I become too mechanical with it if I'm trying too hard? Are if I want to find like a rhythm or pick something to start with, right? To start getting, I guess, building intuition. What do you think would be like the easiest thing to start with? I mean, exercise is something we're all told to do, right? How do I find something that works for me?
Yeah, so I'm just going to give you an example. I brought out a companion journal. We're going to change a few things in it, but I have it broken up into morning and night. So you have two pages, and you have morning with the sun, and then at the bottom you have the evening. And in it, it's super simple. This takes you like 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes at night. What are three things I'm grateful for today? That's positive, right? You're putting positive energy on the paper. My intention
Ooh.
for the day is, my intention often for me is to stay grounded and focused throughout the day because I can lose my focus really easy. So I'll write that. That'll be my intention. Very simple. Today I need to remember that I am. Make yourself an I am statement if you're struggling with something or whatever it is. And then in the evening, you put amazing things that happened to you during the day, one or three items. What could have been better today? You don't have to be negative about it. You could have just been, or for me, I could say, I didn't stay focused in the afternoon. I was all over the place. I always call it, I was squirreling. I was all over the place because squirrels are all over
Yeah.
the place. And then at the very end, did I constantly remember my affirmation today? And there's just a little check mark for yes or no. So just in a regular journal, those few simple items, 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night, you're done. But it gets you started into journaling. There's no right or wrong way to journal. That is just a practice to help people that have never journaled before. They're like, well, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
there is no right or wrong way, right? And I think where you're coming from, where you don't want to get really technical with it,
Mm-hmm.
your type A mind is probably getting in your way, right? You want it to be perfect. And journaling, there is no perfect way. It's just whatever works for your, I'm going to say body, because it releases certain feelings when you journal. So it's just
Mm.
whatever's like for your body at that time when you're journaling. Maybe one day you keep it really simple. Maybe one day you do a mind dump. There's just no right or wrong way.
Yeah, you're right. You just reflected something back that was, really useful. Yeah, you don't, yeah, you're a kind of, that your type A is sort of getting in the way. Right. Maybe the notebook is a trigger. Oh no, I'm supposed to be making a list.
Right?
Right, something like that. Well, and that's why I have to let it go, if you will. So that was a trick question earlier. Do I have to go back and look at my journaling? Because, yeah, I also get the ideas attached to like, do I have to? Or should I? That's a good opportunity for a should. Or what am I going to do with all this, right? What if I write all this stuff and then I get attached to keeping these notebooks or something? So,
Yeah.
I
No, I
mean,
get it.
as a writer, you must have gone through some interesting processes as far as how did you start getting your ideas on paper, and keeping focused as far as your message goes.
Yeah. So really it started with the gentleman I did the whiteboard method with because I
Hmm.
started an outline and I had the title right. And from there, I was just lost. So after I worked with him in the Circle of One book that I was in, I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm just wondering, do you have anything? And he does, it's an actual program he does. And he goes, yeah, absolutely. He goes, from there, I took it and I had to organize it. It turned into so much more. Literally, you want to know what the book was supposed to be about? It
Hmm.
was supposed to be about intuitive stories of mine that I remember through the years from age 8 to 18.
Oh.
That is all the book was going to be about. It turned into so much more. So when he gave me the transcriptions of our whiteboard process, of us sitting down, him asking me questions, and me just answering them, that was kind of what we based it off of. And I was just like, there's just so much more here. I just didn't know how to get it there. So reaching out to an editor and brainstorming with them and kind of organizing everything a little bit better, then I could dive into each chapter and put my feelings and into an intuitive guidance into each chapter. So it was a process for sure, but everything works for somebody differently. Maybe somebody just needs to, like we said earlier, just sit down and mind dump a chapter and then organize it later.
Hmm.
So
It is not comfortable. It's a physical response. And it's not the same thing as like it's not the same thing as thinking through a process and making a decision. You're on your way to do something, or you're in a situation just sort of walking next to a person, for example, and it's time to go left on the sidewalk, and you say, I don't know why, but I don't need to do that, and it's just my body won't let me do it. And you're describing like a almost an involuntary reaction, but it's you're almost choosing to say there's a reason for this, and this is the voice, and that, and what is that response in our body that's happening doesn't come with thoughts or words, and how do we interpret that?
yeah, that honestly is your intuition telling you something's not right. We all have it. People just don't always choose to listen to it, right? You say, "Oh my gosh, I made the wrong choice or I made the wrong decision," because you didn't listen to those feelings that were going through your body. So it is something's not right. Like the person next to you, you're getting a bad energy from them. And if you go that way and they go that way, subconsciously you're probably worried about a situation happening, right? So you choose just to go the other way, even if you're going to be 5 minutes late, right? If you're headed somewhere and you're walking there and you're going to be 5 minutes late, you just choose to go a different direction. I always tell people, I've said that. Oh, so I have a 20-year-old and I have said that to him. He's got very good sixth sense. He's had it
Mm.
since he was a child. And I've always said to him, I say, you listen to that. If your friends want you to do something and something in you tells you not to, then don't do it. So
Mm.
it's like just listen to your body. Always listen to your body because it's telling you something you don't know what it is, but it's picking up energy from somewhere that's not good.
Yeah, and then and so I guess the reason why I tried to circle around that, and glad you said, oh, that's your intuition, is because I that's what it feels like an invisible wall grabbing my shoulders or something, and I can't personally control that. I just freeze or something. And now that's an extreme situation, but you could also just feel a little, you could also just be um in a room or something and just be like, I just kind of like need to get out of here. I need to stand up.
Yeah, right?
So what is that? Yeah,
Well,
right.
yeah. So, even like on days, say you have to go to, I don't know, event in the afternoon and
Mhm.
you're just not feeling it that day. Like you're like, gosh, I just have so much to do. I'm just not feeling it. I would go with that intuition and not go because there's something there that's telling you not to go. We'll just use 9/11. People that were on their
Mm.
way to the airport and decided not to get on those planes. We heard several stories after 9/11. There was just something telling them not to take the trip. So they turned around and went home. And then look what happened. So your body knows. You're picking up on stuff before you know what it is. So maybe something happened on the way, like if you would have went to that event, maybe something happened on the way that you would have gotten involved in like a car accident, whatever, or something happened at the event that your higher power was telling you you don't want to be part of. Stay home. So I always tell people you're not being lazy. Maybe you just need rest. Maybe your body's telling you you need rest, and going to that event is going to suck energy out of you that you don't have to give right now. I mean, all that stuff that it's all factual. You talk about vibration, like when you're high vibration and you're putting that high vibration out, people are attracted to that. So,
Mm.
yeah, when you're getting those weird sensations or like you feel like something's pulling you back by the shoulders a little bit, they're probably it's legit. You're not crazy. I know a lot of people that do not understand what I call the woo energy, where you get a little bit more in depth to be able to notice things in your body, or they're very left-brained, so they need facts.
Mm.
They may not understand it, but if they would allow themselves to kind of like fall into it, they would understand it, that it's actual energy around them that they're picking up on.
Right. If you are moving too quickly, back to this idea of slowing down, right? Why do you think that moving too quickly hurts us or impedes us?
I feel that it hurts us or impedes us because you're blocking stuff to come in. When you're chaotic and stressed, you don't allow yourself to slow down to get downloads or get your inner guidance to let you know what's going on. It blocks everything. Uh,
Mm.
I'll just use an example. Like when I was going through my divorce, I had a really hard time making decisions. Sorry. I could not get my head to slow down. Like
Mm.
I could not make a decision to save my life. And I had no idea what was going on. And I've gotten in such a good practice now that if I'm trying to decide on something, if it doesn't feel 100% right, then it's a hell no. And
Hmm.
I just go by that now. And I'd rather make a decision quickly and adjust it as I go if I need to. So maybe I said no, it's a hell no. And then later I'm like, well, part of that's going to work with me. I'm going to get involved with part of that, whatever the situation is or decisions based on, right? You can always change your mind, but it's better to have a reactive yes or no than not sitting there in the middle and not being able to make a decision. And once I got out of the depression and the anxiety from my divorce and everything and could slow down and just like listen to everything around me. Like you said earlier, being present is a practice. And do we all do it all the time? Absolutely not. There's no way one human could be present every minute of their life. We try, right?
Mm.
And I think it's important that's what we do is we try because it is a practice.
Right. It is a practice. And so thank you for sharing, the importance of that. And thinking about going too quickly or speed being a factor of being blocked is a way I haven't thought about that before either, as far as um you think about, speed or acceleration is obviously how I get to where I want to go faster, and it's how I can fit more things and and I don't do well when I'm, in when I'm pushed to go faster and faster, and I think that blockage makes a lot of sense, right? Because you're almost in a wind tunnel or something, the visual there.
Right?
Right. So nothing can get in from the side because there's literally that's the physics of it. Is
Yeah.
there you've made your own wind tunnel and it's can't penetrate it. So right. So you can't hear if you're in a car, for example, going really quickly, even though you don't know, like you're going really fast, like you're not going to be able to you can't hear things that are happening on the side of the road. So I'm going to think about that.
Yeah.
um Now, okay, so Whispers Within Us is available, and I can find you, but also I want to first click on purchase for the book. So what's the best way to do that?
Best way to do that right now is on Amazon.
Mhm. Okay, so
So
Whispers Within Us on Amazon. Well, Kathleen, thank you so much for coming to the Dear Business Coach podcast, and I would love to have you back when you can.
yeah, I would love to be back. Thank you for having me, Elizabeth.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
You've been listening to the Dear Business Coach podcast. My name is Elizabeth Walker, producer and host of the Dear Business Coach podcast. Music by Stones Mayo. Social media by Meenakshi Bensal. Follow and subscribe now. Thanks so much. You are a superstar.